Sefira of Hod, an intervention from Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls. So I'm going to explain you a story about Michael Jordan, how you can apply the Sefira of Hod, how you can become more effective as leader, and it's less about the conceptual clarity of Hod. So let's dive into it. Now, if we briefly touch upon Hod, and there's many things to say about Hod, it has to do one with our thinking center. So Hod is often our thinking center, and on a deeper level, it has to do with subliminal information, with information that's influencing the mind. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So Michael Jordan was one of the most successful basketball players in the 1990s with the Chicago Bulls. But at a certain moment, you saw in his game that he was entirely carrying the Chicago Bulls team. He was, I believe, doing 30, 40, 50 points every game. Well, 50 is a little bit too high, but he was doing the greater share of all the scoring. And he was limiting himself. So at a certain moment, he had to change his thinking. Now, if you look at Michael Jordan, I think he's very much driven by success and performance. And that's something that's dominant in his mind. So at a certain moment, together with Phil Jackson, he became aware that he had to change his thinking. Now, if you want to change your thinking on a lower level, you have to find the paradox in your thinking. So at the lower level, when you're, for example, when you're achieving for success, when success is important to you, then you have to find a paradox so you will change your behavior. Because often the thinking is so ingrained in your behavior that all your energy goes that way. And if you see a way how you can change your thinking, then your behavior will be influenced. So, for example, in Michael Jordan's thinking, his thinking was probably, the paradox is probably, if I alone strive for success, I won't be successful. So it's a paradox for him. And then he starts to see success in a greater light. And then he started to see success in the way that he needs to involve his team. So, for example, from that moment on, he started to see, if I want to be successful, it's really a team effort. So, with the paradox of thinking, you start to see how limited our thinking is at the lower level, that we're looking through a very narrow, perceptive way of looking the light, but it's very much dominant in our behavior. And if we want to change it, we need to find a paradox that we're still getting a little bit what's important to the ego, although place it in a wider context that it includes the things that are more important in reality. And it's often the paradoxical thinking. I often do it when I'd say it's an intermediate intervention, intermediate to high, when the patterns or the thinking is very much still ingrained in the habits of someone.